Welcome to Diabetes Innovators, a special series from Diabetics Doing Things covering the 85th scientific sessions that were held in June 2025 in Chicago, Illinois. You're going to hear interviews from leaders of tech companies, people with diabetes, diabetes creators, researchers, and more on this podcast. If you want to learn more or hear more from this series, visit diabeticsdoingthings.com/diabetes innovators. Enjoy the episode. Okay, let's talk about our partners who help support this podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about Type Zero, which is typezerohealth.com. It is a business run and founded by a person with type 1 diabetes, John Jensen, who's been on this podcast a couple of times. I've been using this product since 2018. I started training for a half marathon, which I ran in Dallas in December 2018. I was looking for a workout supplement, a pre-workout that I could trust not to spike my blood sugar. And so that's what I've got here in my hand is the clean pre-workout. I use the stim-free version, which doesn't have caffeine, and I trust it. And I've used it now. So 2018, it'll be almost 7 years for me using this pre-workout. It really works for me because I can drink it late in the day. And most of my basketball leagues that I'm playing in now are late at night. So I might have a game from 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And I can make sure that I'm able to get up and play and also be able to fall asleep later that night so I can wake up in the morning, go to work and meet the demands of my life. Type Zero has gone a step further this year in our partnership, and they've launched the Rob Howe Stack, which also includes a couple of my other favorite products, creatine monohydrate, which I've been taking the past 2 years. And if you want to look up all of the good reasons you should be taking creatine, many scientists and performance coaches say if they could only take one supplement, creatine monohydrate would be the one that they chose. I agree, not only for the physical benefits, but also the mental focus and clarity. It's good for your brain. Do yourself a favor and add creatine monohydrate to your stack. Something I've also added is this clean hydration and electrolytes pack. I'll show you one of the little sticks. These are a lot smaller than some of the leading competitive brands because they just don't have as much salt in them. And there's no additives either. So you're not looking at any carbohydrates, nothing that you need a bolus for. And hydration is an essential part of anyone who has diabetes should be making sure that they're hydrated. And it's not just about drinking water. You need salt, you need magnesium, you need a little bit of the vitamin C and some vitamin B. There's a ton of zinc, selenium, chromium, all of the good electrolytes in this supplement. You mix the stick pack with 16 to 20 ounces of water, helps you get hydrated. I've been doing mine in the beginning of the day to start my day and make sure that I'm hydrated. And it helps with your insulin sensitivity. It helps me have some clarity and make sure that, I'm not a very disciplined hydrator when I'm sitting at my computer all day. It's good to be reminded to make sure that you're getting your hydration in. And it's a little bit more interesting to drink than just water. So you can get these as part of the Rob Howe pack, or you can get them on your own. You can get them on Amazon or directly from typezerohealth.com. And when you order from typezerohealth.com, if you use code Rob Howe, that'll save you 20%. So they've got some great sales going on really regularly. So if you can't save more with a promo that they're running, use code Rob Howe and you'll always get that 20% off. And your support helps them support the podcast. So if you are a person with diabetes who's looking for a reliable supplements company that's not going to spike your blood sugar, that's going to get you into the mode to be the higher performer that you are, I recommend, and I take Type Zero. I wouldn't recommend a product that I don't use myself. So please support typezerohealth.com, code Rob Howe, and search the Rob Howe stack to see which supplements I take and get a good deal on those as well. Okay, let's get to the episode. I also want to take this opportunity to promote Diabetes Legends basketball clinics. As you guys know, the last couple of years, we've started to do basketball clinics all throughout the country under our Diabetes Legends basketball clinics name. We've gotten to introduce over 100 campers with type 1 diabetes to diabetes legends like Lauren Cox and Gary Forbes and more. We've got 3 clinics coming up this year, June 7th in Dallas, a very special event at Friends for Life conference on July 11th. And then later in September, we're going to be returning to Denver. If you're looking for more information on the events themselves, you can visit diabeticsdoingthings.com/events. And if you're interested in learning more about the Diabetes Legends Foundation, which we formed in 2025 to better support our ongoing initiatives and creating opportunities for kids with diabetes to have a great day with diabetes via one of our clinics, please connect with us and fill out a form on our website, diabeticsdoingthings.com.
Hi, Rob. I'm Scott Hebl. I'm the Vice President for Program Management at Medtronic Diabetes.
Scott, thank you so much for being here today. We're here in Chicago, where you're from, which is always a great reveal. What's it like, scientific sessions, 85th scientific sessions here this week?
Great. I love the energy, good weather, of course, beautiful summertime in Chicago. Lots of exciting sessions, lots of exciting innovations. So yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, as a Medtronic champion and now MiniMed champion, I know over the past couple of weeks there's been a lot of excitement around coming out of Medtronic, announcing earlier this spring that Medtronic is going to separate the diabetes business, and now the announcement going to become MiniMeds. Everybody's been talking about how much energy there is and how much excitement there is internally. What can you share with us about that?
Yeah, it's a really, really cool story. It gives me shivers when I think about it. Well, going back, more than 40 years, back to 1983, when the company was started, a gentleman named Al Mann. I started working for Al Mann companies in my early medtech device days. So 40 years of innovation, taking that MiniMed brand, all the benefits of being Medtronic Diabetes, and then back now with, a company solely focused on serving our mission and going after what we're trying to deliver for, again, trying to make living life with diabetes more predictable and delivering great outcomes. So yeah, very exciting, a lot of energy.
A lot of people I've seen online were like, they're going to call MiniMed again. I think they're going to be MiniMed again. So to see that come to life and learning about Al Mann and his innovation as a person with diabetes, like obviously like easy to be inspired by, all that he's built, and very cool to see that come back.
Yep, for sure.
So, innovation is at the center of this series, and, we're calling the series Diabetes Innovators. When you think about what's exciting about, what gives you chills about what's going to come out of MiniMed and what's going to come out of this new company out of Medtronic Diabetes, what innovation are you really excited about? What gets you going?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a lot there. It starts with building off of everything we've done for the last 40 years, being at really the leading edge of innovation for a long time. I'd start with what we're introducing now at ADA as far as 780G with Simplera Sync, meal detection, all of the benefits around that, as well as some of the improvements on the MDI side with InPen 2.0 and missed dose correction alerts and those types of things, trying to bring more intelligence to, the MDI therapy area. So those are the things I'd start with that are super exciting going forward. And this is, again, back to that exciting piece of, a fresh look for MiniMed, but continuing to deliver on 40 plus years of innovation and that drive and that mission. So going forward, it's a lot about what we've been focused on, which again is trying to just simplify life with diabetes, deliver exceptional outcomes. I think that looks like, again, delivering great outcomes, but reducing burden, allowing choice and flexibility, maybe choice for how you interact with your therapy, whether you're, wearing a pump or if you're taking a break or if you're doing MDI. So a choice really in how you want to interact with your therapy, and then choices and flexibility for how you interact with the technology. It's important. I think we've got this vision and the goal of the patient at the center of that. And so you could think about, a person with an ecosystem that's wrapped around them where you can choose between which style of pump you want to wear, if you'd like to switch to MDI, but having, maybe a common interface to that and having portability between those things. A lot of excitement as far as, I think it's a great time. There's a lot of momentum, and we're right on that trajectory of, some very exciting next generation things coming.
Yeah, kind of one login to rule them all, right? You don't have to change your diabetes.shop account. You just go, if you need to take a pump break. I went and did a stint on the InPen a couple of years ago, giving my body a break from some of the pump sites, and then came back. So it was really nice to be able to have that flexibility.
One login. You could even think of, conceptually of a single app that you could have
Right.
that would, change between what therapy modes you were delivering. And so, yeah, well, the ease of use and again, the simplification and kind of blending into lifestyles.
Yeah, more integrated.
Big vision.
Very cool. Simplera Sync has been live in Europe for about a year. I know it's coming later this year in 2025 to the US. What's the response been like from patients for using the upgraded sensor with the 780G?
Yeah, it's been really great. It's easier to use. It's easy to insert, easy to wear, no overtape, no recharging a transmitter, no cleaning. So just a very modern, simple, contemporary sensor. Yes, it's been very compelling as far as the uptake. People have loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to that as well. We had a champions lunch today, and we were all talking about, hey, what are we looking forward to the most? And it's like, having a simpler insertion and getting to enjoy what our friends in Europe have been telling us about. When we think about like looking forward, we're at 780G today. Looking forward to future pump series and options. You mentioned InPen 2.0. What can you share about those innovations that'll be coming out?
Sure. Yeah. It's back to what I was saying about really trying to just simplify, life with diabetes relative to not spending as much time thinking about all of the care moving some of that to the background. I think that looks like, again, about offering choice and flexibility. So, pump form factors that fit different modes of lifestyle, whether you're being active or, you've got certain dress or clothes you're going to wear. So you could think about, smaller, more discrete pumps, smartphone controlled. Certainly patch pumps have been a compelling form factor that's doing quite well. So you can imagine, those types of form factors offering choice in terms of sensors, continuing to kind of improve on our CGM portfolio. And then on the in-pen space, again, there on the MDI side, I'm trying to, again, bring some of the smarts and the intelligence we have in the AID algorithms over to MDI to, again, facilitate decision-making, kind of, lower burden, just integrate things more into, lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think, when you're talking about switching from one to the other, being able to have the same data on one that you get on the other in terms of active insulin and, like you said, notifications if you miss a bolus or mealtime insulin or whatever the case may be. Very cool. Scientific sessions, there's a lot going on, a lot of energy here, like we talked about. What have you seen that you're really excited about? Whether it's research or innovation, what have you seen here at ADA?
Yeah, sure. One thing that jumps out at me is, I guess, the continued kind of strength of AID data. And so it's really good to see the outcomes there. There was some good CG data shared relative to the performance of that across different populations, different groups, socioeconomic status. And so really it kind of gets to the lasting power of AID and trying to continue to advocate for AID as a standard of care. So a lot of good stuff on that. Personally, I'm drawn to, from just a technology perspective, to insulin dosing algorithms. So I've been eating up a lot of those sessions in terms of what's presented there. A lot of good, deep quality content on research and things. So it's been fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, this is now my 5th scientific session. So I kind of learned the pathway of, like, you get an announcement of FDA approval at one meeting, and then the next meeting goes on the market, and then the next meeting you have research and the outcomes from different populations. And so, I remember 2023 we had the big announcement for 780G, and then last year the first data, and now seeing more like deep dive studies with the data coming out of it is really exciting. Anything else that you want to touch on in the series?
I will say one last thing, I guess, in closing is that, so I've been in medical device technology, 25 plus years, really exciting time, and when you have that chance to deliver innovation that really impacts people's lives, and you can see that front and center, it's a really special time. I treat it as kind of a privilege. And when you talk about the excitement at MiniMed, it's a really talented team with a lot of drive and a lot of, momentum. So I'm very excited about the future and can kind of feel and sense that each and every day. So really just looking forward to, again, trying to go out there and get back after it and bring that innovation to life.
Everybody seems upbeat. I've run into lots of different members of the team thus far at the meeting, and it's really exciting and looking forward to being a part of it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's an interesting story. I'll tell you one more like this. I'm deaf, and so I wear cochlear implants, and my ears don't work at all. So I hear through these two devices. I lost my hearing when I was like 18, and went through college. Basically, I could hear for a little while. Couldn't hear for a little while anyway. Right at the end of college, I got a cochlear implant, and that then drew me into an Alman company. So I got a cochlear implant. This was like late 90s, and I was a technology student, and I put up a website, and the company found it. They're like, "Oh wow!" And they said, "Hey, we'd like to have a conversation with you." And I started a conversation with them and was talking to them, and it turned into a job. And so I moved from Purdue out to Los Angeles. But Advanced Bionics was a Alman company that was right off of a MiniMed, off the original MiniMed. So I grew up in Alman companies. I knew Al personally. Spent a lot of time with him and that leadership team. So yeah, it was a pretty cool journey. But it shifts into like more about me and like deafness. And
I wouldn't be here without my own diabetes, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting for me because it's a very different domain, but I have a processor I wear in my hip, and I have a ear level device, and I've got to recharge them, and I've got to take care of them and do stuff. And so I live with medical devices that are a very important part of my life, and so that aspect of what it's like to actually like, oh, where are you going to put it when you sleep or when you shower? So it's intrinsic to me relative to like medical device and medical device technology. It makes me very passionate about the impact you can have on people's lives.